the best time of the week. Time to listen to the Three Brothers. Forget your garlic and your leeks and listen to the Three Brothers. It's fat-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, soy-free, and free from gluten and priestcraft too. If you click this accidentally, stick around. You might learn a thing or two. Chuck on a shirt, tie and shorts, and crack yourself a brew without any further ado. We are coming at you. Three brothers, juxtapositions, and midnight ramblings for sure. Three brothers, don't forget you get what you pay for. Three brothers, so come on down, don't even worry about it anymore. Three brothers.
Welcome, brothers and sisters, once again to this week's weekly Three Brothers podcast with your hosts, Micah, Topher, and Ammon. Your favorite, we hope, Three Brothers. That's it. That's
That's it. Okay.
Oh.
All right. Well,
That's
okay.
that's the
See you
whole.
later.
That's the show, guys. It's still a real one.
We're going in rough.
We're
We
been a
too
long week.
low. Bing, bing, boom.
pull up.
Pull up, pull up, pull up. Yeah, too low, too low. Yeah.
Take the stick. Pull up. We're crashing. All right. So without any further ado, dude.
Go on.
I'm not hearing it.
Yeah. Let's hear the
I'm
music.
gonna go, yeah, sorry. Oh, sorry. You're waiting on me. I'm sitting there going, is he gonna, I thought he was going to jump into something else. Hang on.
Just the first segment, that's all.
There we
Without
go.
further ado, maybe I was a little.
How did we do from me to you? I wanna follow up. Yeah.
Very
Mhm.
good. We want to follow up.
Yeah.
Uploading the visual. All right, one of you guys can do this if you like. I'll do the spiritual thought.
All right, okay. Well, I'll do it. Usually the person who starts does this bit, but I'll do it.
Well, here we go. Follow up. This week's focus on praying, not for the world, but for those the Lord has given you out of the world. How did we do? That was a little bit subliminal in my prayer right before we started this, actually. It's something that I specifically put in our prayer to start this weekly podcast. But this is a good one. It's something that I have been thinking of during the week. I've had a couple of really long days, and when I get home at night and I'm saying my prayers, I'm like, man, I'm just so grateful. Like, with everything going on in life, so grateful for the good ones in life, so grateful for the good people that stand by me and take care of me and try and lift me up and are positive and helpful. I've definitely felt that and felt the gratitude and the love for those this week for sure. So it's been good.
Yeah, but same here. I would relate this to my calling a little bit. So I'm the eldest quorum president. I've probably said this before, and it's interesting. I caught up with a friend who I very rarely get to see, and he's in Perth for a little while at the moment. So we're catching up as regularly as we can, and we talking about callings and bits and pieces. And anyway, it made me realize when I was talking to him, I haven't had so much concern for people in my actual life outside of just my family and friends and what have you for a long time. Like it's like it comes with the calling, I think. But um, we're talking about praying for those who the Lord has given you out of the world, and there's actually so many people that now I have real world concern for, if that makes sense. Like I'm trying to explain it in a nice way, but um, yeah, just constantly concerned about people, and I think it comes with the calling, and so I'm always praying, thinking about a lot of these brethren in my quorum, and yeah, so it's an interesting thing that comes that it's an interesting change that comes with the calling. So I'm constantly thinking and worrying about people and the things that are happening to them and the ways I can help them. Um, and yeah, I guess I'm grateful that I can do that and have that and help these people in any way. But it's really nice. It's really nice. Also, it's really nice to see the quorum helping each other, and so we try and get together as much as possible. And it's getting better and better and better constantly as well. So anyway, focusing on the people the Lord has given you out of the world, yeah, important and awesome.
Mm.
And I hope it doesn't change the day comes when you get released. Like
No,
yeah, like there's like the whole when you the missionary, when it's like,
yeah,
oh, I love being a missionary, blah 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 blah, and then it's like the name tag comes off, and it's like, woo, and it's like, yeah, what
yeah,
happened to the being a missionary? Like it doesn't not supposed to end. Like it's like the church is this wonderful machine that can really like you might not naturally do something like this. Maybe you're an introvert, maybe you're just not inclined to this, then you get put into a calling and you're like, "Oh, wow, this is a whole new experience for me." And it's like a whole new thing that's like I would never have done this. I would have never knocked on someone's door and been like, "Hello, I'm a missionary." Making a fool of myself on your door from Idaho. But I would never have done something like that. But it's like the church puts you in that situation, and then you're like, wow, I should like I should grow into this all my own. But I needed the church to help me, imperfect creature that I am to do these things. So Tracy also kind of added on to this a little bit in our little group of friends, our little Discord family, if you will, where she asked everyone to include like something that they've been successful with this last month
mm,
and something that they're struggling with. And I thought that was interesting because I think that it like I've said, it really isn't like it's a better thing. It's nice when you can get to pray for people that you love and genuinely over things that they've said they're struggling with, things that are difficult. So yeah, that's fun. And then very and you got to work on the other end too, because like Topher brought up last week, sometimes it's hard to ask for help. Like you don't want to ask for help, so you kind of have to be like, yeah, this is something I'm struggling with. This is awkward. Like I don't like telling people things I'm struggling with or whatever. And so you kind of got to work on both ends. As far as things going on this week, man, I'm telling you, it's like it sucks being millennial and not a billionaire, not a millionaire,
Mhm.
because I mean it's like the amount of things that I've had to do this week, like I had to I had a problem with my computer, so I had to like one of my computers. So I bought an SSD drive and I had to install it. I had to format it. I had to, find it in the BIOS and do all that stuff. And it's like, I'm doing this and I'm like, why do I know how to do this? I'm sitting there, I'm like, what? Because I'm poor? That's the reason. Like genuinely, it's like because no one's gonna show up and do this for me, so I had to learn how to do this. I'm pulling out a tube out of my shower because it's broken, and I'm replacing this the I don't even know what the tube's called. The cylinder is actually called here. What is it? I'm replacing it in the wall because it's broken, it's gone.
like a shower rail.
It's no, it's actual plumbing. It's the
Ah,
it's called a cartridge, but I think it might have another name for it. So like your water comes together in your wall. The hot water, cold water comes together, and then there's this little cartridge that goes in it, and it like so when you turn it, like it's what regulates how much hot, how much cold. So when it comes out, that went. So I'm sitting in there replacing that, and because why not? And anyway, I have this huge long list of things, and I'm like, this is crazy being a millennial man, a poor millennial man, because it's like you have to learn how to do literally absolutely everything, and or else you just don't get anything. And so yeah, I was very weirded out about that. How many different hats I have to put on in a given week? Where it's like, oh, now I'm a plumber. Oh,
Mm.
I
yeah.
wonder. I wonder if we're the last generation that's like that, though. You know, we've just learned
So it
things
is.
the hard way, and like the TikTok generation, whatever you call them now, I don't think they're going to know anything.
I've been around. I could tell you a dozen to a half a dozen Gen Zers. In fact, I've lived with a couple. So if you're listening to this, I love you. But I'll tell you what, like it's shocking if they knew how to do their own laundry. Like it's crazy,
Mm.
and no fault, not even no fault to them, but like their parents, and a lot of these were Gen X, in fact, Gen X or like boomers at the very, very end of their tenure, where they're just like, I don't care about life. Man, these kids know how to do
Yeah.
nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Do you know what the Gen X generation was really good for? I found I'm not going to tell my kids how to live their lives because I don't want them to tell me how to live my life. That's literally the most retarded perspective I've ever heard in my entire life. And I've heard it way too much.
That's between you and the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It led to a lot of teen pregnancies, let me tell you. A lot of people ruining their lives.
But it's funny,
Uh,
you'll talk to millennials and it's like for some reason we're like the last. I think that we'll be known as like in history when they talk about the Renaissance man. I really do. I believe that millennial people will be like the Renaissance man, where it's like, did you play some kind of instrument? And it'll be like, yeah, actually I did. Did you write music? Yeah. Could you sing? Sure. Did I do stuff with computers? Yeah. Did you fix your gaming consoles? Yep. Did you do some plumbing? Absolutely. It's like
Hmm.
it'll be like,
You ever
what?
work on a car yourself? Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I've done that. Uh, yeah. And then there'll be the very next generation, and it'll be like, well, what was your problem with the millennials? Well, my problem was is that they would do a funny zoom on their camera when they recorded videos. It's like, oh, all right, Gen Z. Whew. You got us. That's Anyway. And not only that, this wonderful bridge because we were that generation that like Gen X brags about all this stuff. We were the generation that went out when it was still dark and we had to be home. And it's like, yeah, so did we. Like everything that Gen X brags about, like that happened to them, it's like we had it and we had it worse because we were born slightly later, which means we had less enthusiastic boomers, if you could believe that, as parents. So we had even less parentage, So anyway, we had this really weird bridge there, man. Really, millennials, really weird bridge between we can still remember the street lights, and not only that, we can remember the old street lights. I don't even know if people know this about America, but the street lights changed. So like we remember the yellow lights. We remember what the
Yeah.
cities used to feel like, warm, and
Yeah.
that glow of the versus this really white, translucent LED, nightlife that we have now. We remember it.
Hmm.
mm.
It felt like candlelight. I remember.
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore over here. Yeah, yep.
We remember.
We remember.
The
Anything
North
exciting happening
remembers.
in your lives this week, boys?
Uh,
No, no.
Last week, I think I was saying last week was like so stressful in terms of work stuff. Got through that. It was another one of those nice things where I prepared really hard for days and then prayed my butt off, and then it went pretty well, thankfully.
Excellent.
So
Good.
yeah, and But yeah, I think Ammon's probably still in the thick of it for his because he goes right up until the end of financial year. I'm not in a financial services sort of industry, so it's just like generic end of financial year meetings that I have. But I think I've passed the worst of them now, thankfully. So,
Yeah, it's good.
but yeah, nothing else going on really. It's the same old every day, repeat.
Ammon has to drive up to Shalom, I believe.
Mm. I'm
Yep.
always driving over to Geelong.
Shalom.
Yeah,
So
yeah, just another wild week for me. It's early mornings, late nights, and just packed from second to second, and late work nights, and yeah, I'm just survivor. June is literally just survival for me. If I can get through it, we're good.
I'm a survivor.
We've got to rent. Yeah, we've got to rent. Oh, it's the rent of the week. Yeah.
I love these. Man, I don't know, man. Sometimes, man, like with all these things, I'll start these things, or Ammon and I and Topher will start these things, and then like it'll just kind of morph into stuff, and it's like, oh, thank you, Lord, for helping with some of this stuff because some of these things are like the rant of the week, the follow up, like it's crazy how much it's shifted my brain focus throughout the week because I'll see something you're like, oh, that would be a good rant of the week, and I'll see something like, ooh, that's got to go in, that's got to go, dude. I have to see
Mm,
Topher's I have to see, oh, I have to see Ammon's reaction to this, and then, but anyway, so this was something that was like
mhm,
it came up this week, and it was like I said it. And 'cause I was talking to Ammon and Topher, and I said, "Man, when will enough be enough?" And I said, "Man, this would be a great rant of the week because it's like because and you'll understand this a little bit more when we get to the news of the week. Man, it's getting nasty out there. Like it is like not just bad, like it is getting to a point in time where it's like it's almost like raking the soul. Like it almost feels like it's making me raw, where it's like it's getting so evil and things are happening that are so bad that it's like, am I now becoming like I either have you either have to snap, like we're at that point in time, or become completely desensitized. Because like if this doesn't whatever the word is, incense you, if this doesn't make you go insane, like it's like you have to just be completely numb to the world. You have to. This is how rough this is getting. And I understand that that's the way this is supposed to be. And this is the rant of the week, right? That you have this idea of this Lucifer, pacifying those in the church, and this is the church, lulling them into a carnal security. They're going to say, "All is well in Zion. Yea, Zion prospers. All is well." And thus the devil cheateth their souls and leadeth them away carefully down to hell. So you have this group that's just like, which is the overwhelming majority of us. Obviously, the overwhelming majority of us. This is why Nephi calls it out because at this period in time, it's this bad that we're just like, hey, it's all good. We got all these temples being built. It's all good. When we're surrounded by the worst evil the world has ever known, we're like, Zion's good. Fall asleep in your pews. If you're a boomer, like we went over, don't turn off your phones. And what's going on? Isaiah 10, it's like, and my hand is found as a nest of the riches of the people, and as one gathereth eggs that are left, have I gathered all the earth. And there was none that moved the wing or opened the mouth or peeped. And it's like we've already talked about this, right? Eggs could mean your literal the things that are most valuable to you, your children, the money of the nations. And what's happening here is that a bird, in this case, even a mother bird, her most natural instinct is to protect her young. She's not even moving her wing or even peeping. She's not even fighting back as the eggs are just being taken. Well, why? Because that little birdie's going, all is well in Zion. Oh, take my egg. Love, tolerance. Take my egg, right? And it's like eventually we get to this point in time in Doctrine and Covenants 87 where the slave shall rise against the masters who are marshaled and ready discipline for war. And it shall come to pass also that the remnants. Now, what is it, remnants? Because the majority are asleep. The majority aren't lifting the wing or making a peep. The majority are lulled into carnal security. So it's a remnant. Eventually, a small remnant who are left of the land marshal themselves and become exceedingly angry. Wait, you're telling me that a righteous group can become angry? You better believe it. Read the Book of Mormon. Moroni, Captain Moroni, gets pretty ticked off. Okay. Eventually, the remnant gets ticked off. They say, enough is enough, and they shall become exceedingly angry and shall vex the Gentiles with the sore vexation. And what's really crazy to me is that I'm finding that as I say things like, when is enough going to be enough? Like, what's the line, Ephraim? What's the line, Ephraim, where we just wake up as a people and just say, "Oh yeah, no, we're not going to take this. I'm sorry." Like, we're going to take a lot of stuff, tolerance, love, blah blah blah, but like, this is over. This is done. We're taking things back because this is enough. And enough is enough. And what's crazy about that is that every single one of these prophets, especially the Ephraim prophets, when viewed this time period, they all ask the same question, which is, "How long, Lord?" We're all asking the same thing. What is enough enough? How long, Lord? Like when? When? And the Lord's answer is always the same when it's like when all the cities are made desolate. When all the cities are made desolate. When it's all gone. And it meaning this is going to roll forward, or this is just going to keep happening until there is nothing left. And that's why there is just a remnant. And so my rant of the week is like when the greatest evils in the world are being committed right now with like abortion, which is it's not even close. The amount of the genocide that's being taken place with that year on end. When these and what we're getting into with the LGBTQ in the news and stuff, like there has to be a point in time where the truly righteous either become numb to it and just say all is well in Zion, I don't need to worry about it, or they're gonna start getting angry and they're gonna start saying enough is enough. This is my fight. And by that point in time, there's only gonna be a few left.
Mm. I isn't it funny? Like, I literally feel what you're saying, right? I feel like I can see it around, just even in like my local ward a little bit, or just in real life in general. This all is well in Zion mindset and concept, and it's also a fallacy that we're Zion. Do you know what I mean? Like people
Yeah,
love to say all is well, like we are Zion and all is well is in Zion, but we're not even Zion. Do you know what I mean? But like we
correct.
love to have
Yep.
this mistaken concept that we are already, and that's just we're on the wrong foot from the get-go. So it's just like we're so prideful and stupid, just straight off the bat, right? But
Yep.
in terms of like I'm at the point where I'm constantly seeing news that infuriates me, and I'm constantly at the point where like I feel like I'm like at the edge where it's like I've got very little more to spare before like I like what will tip me over the edge. Do you know what I mean? And I wonder. So and I think when you brought up some certain things this past week, and I mentioned Belfast in Ireland, right? And you see what they're doing now. Like so, some immigrant tried to chop off someone's head in the street, and so now they've literally got
That is in the news of
gang.
the week this week. Yep.
Oh, okay, right. So we'll
Yep.
get to that. So, but the retaliation was this is their response to it. They finally tipped over. And it's like, well, how long until everyone gets to this point? Like, what has to do? When will enough be enough? What has to happen for everyone to get to this point? And what will make the cities desolate? The response to the
Correct.
craziness. Yeah. So I'm with you, man. When will enough be enough? It's yeah, wild,
Two
wild
things,
out there.
just on that point. It's really interesting in Australia for the first time ever, a third party fringe, very minor
Mm,
party has just come to the forefront to and the leader is now the preferred leader for prime minister in Australia. And this is a very small party that's typically been seen as like very fringe, very extreme right wing,
dream.
extreme concepts on immigration, culture, just seen as like extraordinarily extreme in all of its views. And
On the right.
and that
Yep.
yeah, and that leader is now officially polling the highest in popularity and likelihood of becoming the next prime minister. Now that means something. It doesn't, and I'm not saying that because I support this person or I think the same way or whatever, but when something like that happens in a society that's quite literally for generations and generations and generations, in fact, hundreds of years, been basically a two-party system, to have a random small-time third party come out with such extreme views, becoming the most popular views, what it says is one very simple thing. Everyone is fed up.
Yeah.
And what they're doing, they're not necessarily even voting for her. What they're voting for is not more of the same. Please don't give me more of the same. The same is destroying me. And if my only option in protest here is to do something completely opposite to what we've been doing, then I'll do that. And I truly think that a lot of people that are popularizing that party are only doing so to get out of the current situation, not necessarily because they completely support it. There might be concepts of it that they support, but it's probably more likely that they're just like, I can't do more of the same. It's killing me. And so that's the first thing. And then the second thing, that quote in Isaiah 10, talking about the hen gathering her chickens and no one's even making a peep about it. I think people's reaction to this kind of discourse that we're having right now is, whoa, 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 hold on, guys. What we need to do is love. What we have to do here is just stop and just love harder. Just get hold of something and just love it till it dies. And on Sunday, we talked about that. It was someone brought up a talk and it was all about love, love, love. And I stopped and said, it's really important that we understand love from the Lord's perspective and not the world's. The world's perspective of love is you're perfect. You're everything you will ever need to be right now, no matter how broken or backwards or upside down you are. The way you are right now is absolutely perfect. And I'm going to love you by saying, don't ever change. Don't stop doing what you're doing or being what you're being. Be exactly who you are and do whatever you want to do. That's my love for you. Yeah. And the Lord's form of love is you're a piece of junk. You're a piece of trash. But don't worry. I will care for you and I'll take care of you and I will bless you on your journey to becoming more like the Savior Jesus Christ. We're going to change. All right. I love you so much. We're going to change you. And it's through Jesus Christ that you're going to be able to do it. So it's going to hurt and it's going to be painful and you're going to have to be refined. But the glorious news is Jesus Christ made the way. So become like him, make the changes, and then you will feel all of the love that you've ever wanted to feel. All the love, all the real acceptance for what you really need to become, and you can become like him. So, and that analogy that we always love is somebody's racing towards the edge of a cliff. And because you love that person, you don't say, I love you enough to see you go. Good luck. I hope it doesn't hurt too much.
I believe in you.
Yeah. Dodge, stop me. They're running down the hill. Dodge, stop me now. You're like, okay, I love you enough. It's like, no. You tackle them to the ground, even if they hate you for life for it. Yeah. Because you know that it's exactly what they need. So anyway, it's just one of those things where when you have this discourse, the instant reaction from most people is, okay, well, you just got to love harder. What are we really saying here? We need to be more passive. Like, don't talk about these things. You have to be more passive. You have to be more accepting of the world that's falling apart. You should be more willing to accept things the way they are and don't try and change things. Don't rock the boat. Just accept everyone and accept everything.
That is
People don't read the
scriptures,
saying. And that's literally what they're saying. They don't read the scriptures. That's literally what they're saying. Everything in the scriptures is like, awake, arise, snap out of it, remember. Yeah.
Remember,
you're not peeping. Start peeping. All is not well in Zion.
Put on your glory. Sorry, what is the scripture? DNC Elias Higby. Put on the garments of the holy priesthood.
Oh, Deuteronomy 1:13.
Yeah,
I think that's what you're thinking. I think.
I just can't remember the wordage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do more peeping.
Hold the power of priest to bring in Zion, the redemption. Put on her strength, to put on the authority of the priesthood, which she, Zion, has a right to by lineage. also to
Yeah.
return to that power which she has lost.
Yes. Return to the power that you've lost. Put on the power of the priesthood. Put on those holy garments of the priesthood.
And the
Remember.
scattered remnants are exhorted, they're pled with, to return to the Lord from whence they have fallen.
Yeah.
If they do, the Lord's promised he'll talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a piece of junk right now, and now I'm not speaking a word until you change your ways. But the good news is, you start changing your ways. I want to speak to you. I want you to come to the top of Mount Sinai. Come to the top of Mount Sinai. I know it's burning and shaking and looking crazy, but come up there, because I'll speak with you when you get there. You exercise a little faith in me that you'll be okay. I'll speak to you face to face.
Yeah. Well, it seems like we might be seeing the start of when enough will be enough, huh?
Yeah, it's showing signs everywhere.
Nice. Nice rant. Good rant. Solid rant.
Solid rant. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 rant.
As soon as the words came out of my mouth,
Oops.
oh,
Sorry.
Of the week.
Sorry, did you want to finish your thought there?
I was just saying it. As soon as the words came out of my mouth, I was like, "You're a piece of trash." And I knew as soon as I said that, someone's clipping it.
Meow.
And
Alright.
using it out of context
Out of
later.
context. Out of context.
Look what these guys say about people.
Yeah, you're a piece of trash.
And now there are 2 or 3 separate times it's been said that it can be clipped. Anyway.
Yeah, that's how we work. All of us
Yeah.
have said it at one point in time. You're a piece of trash.
Yeah.
You're a piece of trash. Yeah. Anyway, Ashley helps me with these, making these visuals, obviously, and she was like, snuck this one in here, so just so people are aware, I don't clip myself as the
Dang
comment.
it, Ashley.
So calm down, people. I'm not like, man, did I make a doozy of a comment this week.
Everyone,
So-
listen to my comments. Go
Everyone
on.
listen to my comment. Ashley was like, she's like, I wanted to see the Aussies' reaction to this, and I want to, upset women. So Ashley likes that, because Ashley's like, I got to deal with you all the time, Micah, upsetting me. Time for you to upset other women. So anyway, so here we are in the old comment bank. So this was in response to these videos and news that we're starting to reach a point in time where there's more sister missionaries than elder missionaries, and
Really?
yeah. So anyway,
Wow.
we're yeah, the number of elders is dropping and the number of sisters is rising, and we're getting to that point in time. So I said here, women are addicted to social media as bad as any man I've known addicted to pornography. And missions have become one giant post-a-thon on Instagram, Facebook, etc. While in foreign locations, hopefully a foreign country, right? They want it to be like in a foreign country so they can have better pictures. The appeal of a mission for young women will continue to rise as what a mission is continues to phase from hard work, door approaches, etc., into social media clout. It would be like it'd be like if missionary work was becoming, let's go to all girl dormitories and hang out with them, and let's go to I don't even know how to describe it, strip clubs, and we're gonna do all our missionary in these locations, and all of a sudden the number of males rises. All of a sudden there's more and more men that are interested in this mission. um that's what it's like with this, where it's like, well, we're doing this different kind of missionary work, and it's like it's addictive. And every research on this has shown this, that every study that they've done where they say, oh, well, porn affects your brain and changes your brain chemistry and stuff. Every study they've done on this has shown that social media has been worse for females in their brains, and the dopamine receptors, and like the phone goes "Brrr," and they just grab it and they're just like, what was that? Every study has shown that social media and these dope, the way they register with the dope and the likes every like a woman gets when she posts on Instagram, the effect that it has on her brain, every one of them has shown that's worse. So it doesn't surprise me at all that this is the way we're going, because all like when you think about missionary work now to the youth, most of the youth, this is what they're thinking. They're not thinking sweating, they're not thinking on a bike dying, they're not thinking about getting thrown off of a porch. They're not thinking about the boys on the bikes anymore. Like, this isn't the image anymore. It's women holding flags saying, "I'm going to Argentina." It's women on videos going, "Hi, I'm Sister Jones and I love the Lord. Aren't I so cute?" That's what the image of the missionary is, and as that continues to change, obviously you're gonna have more and more females joining this and less males. So that was my comment.
Super interesting. It's so interesting because in my own ward, all the girls are going to missions and the boys not so much.
That's
When I talk
crazy.
to the youth, we've just had, I think, 2 or 3 young women just go bang, bang, bang off on missions, and it's young men coming home but not going out. Um, and the talk in my ward from the younger generation is like every time because I know a lot of these young women and they're actually really, really good young women. I'm like, oh, do you know if so and so is going to serve a mission? Like, oh yeah, yeah, she's going. I'm like, wow, okay, that's amazing. Do you know if that young woman's going? Yeah, 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 she's serving. She's working on her papers right now. Like, what? It's just like girl after girl. But I'm not hearing any of that talk with young men. In fact, I was talking to the mum of a young man who'd be the next one to go on our board the other day, and I was talking to him like serving a mission was a fact. I was like, oh, when you go on your mission, you're going to do this and you're going to experience this and da da da. And his mum stopped me a couple of times, and she's like, yeah, yeah, don't put any pressure on him. Only if he wants to go. Like, she kept stopping me from using this affirmative language. She's like, yeah, but only if he wants to go. Only if he wants to go. And I was like, man, what a way to put a
Yeah.
dampener on it. Weren't we supposed to have been? Isn't primary like the ultimate brainwash cycle? Shouldn't we carry? Aren't we supposed to be carrying that all the way through to the period where they serve missions? Isn't that what love is? Wasn't this the whole conversation earlier? Love is sometimes, especially when you're talking about a youth that you're responsible for, a young person that's part of your family. You're supposed to be a little bit more guiding and directing rather than, I love you, so I'm going to let you do whatever you want to do, and whatever it is, I accept it. That's not real love. What real love is, I know that this is good. I know that this is right. And because I have a responsibility over you, I'm guiding you towards that thing, whatever it is, serving a mission or whatever. So that's the first thing. And then I was just saying, it's so interesting the timing of this because I didn't read this comment before we went live. And so this is a live reaction. But I just said, as we were about to start the video, I was talking to my daughter during the week, and she's only 11 years old, but she really likes the idea of serving a mission. She's like, I'd love to serve a mission, Dad, and I'd love to do that and just teach the gospel and tell people about Jesus. And when I see what missions have now become in a lot of circumstances and what missionaries are currently doing, which back when I was a missionary, when we served missions, would have been an absolute hell no. Like, you cannot act a certain type of way. Now it's so widespread that I'm just worried that if I send out my beautiful, pure little girl out into a mission, it's going to do the opposite of what it was really intended to do. And I know that to some people that's going to sound crazy, but I'm
I've
just
seen it
sharing with you.
happen. I've seen it happen with a
Yeah,
half a dozen women that have been
yeah.
absolutely awesome doctrinal giants that have gone on missions and come home and been like, "Yeah, we need to love and not judge." And it was like, "Oh my, like completely gone." Just into the
Yeah.
all is well in Zion, don't judge. Like, they're gone. It's like sending them off to universities now. I mean, it's like
I
you send
just
them back and you're like, "What happened?" Well,
honestly, I would just be heartbroken if my daughter went on a mission and she spent the whole time doing TikTok dances for Facebook.
yeah.
I think it would kill me. Now, obviously, I wouldn't encourage my daughter to be doing it, and I would, if I saw it, I'd talk to her about it, and I'd try and like recenter her and get her mind right about what a mission is for. And what converts. It's not TikTok dances, it's the Spirit. And, appropriate representation of the Savior Jesus Christ is what's going to lead to long lasting and genuine uh, foundations and testimony and conversion. I would do all that, but the problem is, as soon as she leaves my care and goes into the care of others and into cultures where that is not only accepted but encouraged by everyone around them, I feel like I'm putting my daughter into a bad situation.
Yeah.
And that is crazy to me. Now, again, my daughter is a little bit different to my son because my daughter is not a priesthood holder and she is not encouraged to even serve a mission. It's optional. It's not something she needs to do. There's a lot that she can do, and she'd probably do a lot better back home. Who knows? Again, I'm not speaking for anyone but my own daughter right now. My son, I would probably push regardless and just try and teach him right and tell him, be the difference. Like, remember, we've done this before. Be willing to stand alone. Be willing to be the only guy that's trying to do it right when everyone else is doing it wrong. And that I think that would be what I'd say to both my kids, but particularly my boy, because he is going to be a priesthood holder, and it would be his priesthood responsibility to fulfill. My daughter, on the other hand, I'm starting, like, if we keep moving in this direction, I'm starting to have some doubts about guiding her down that path. So very interesting times, my friends. Missions ain't what they used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever happened to pushing boys, man? When we grew up, like, it would have been the same for all three of us. Do you remember they raised the bar? They raised the
Oh,
bar
yeah.
when
Yeah.
we served their
Oh,
missions,
yeah.
I'll
right? They
never
raised the bar.
never forget it.
And
Made us all feel
yeah,
like death.
yeah. But there was no stigma against going, you're gonna serve a mission, boy. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta serve, like, there was no like, what are you being hot? What are you being so forceful about? It was no, you're going, you need to, you're going to. And I feel like in our day it was probably the very exception to the rule. If a young man grew up and went, no, I'm not gonna go. I mean, they would, if they weren't gonna go, they'd probably be fully less active. That was probably the only way. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
most of the
Yeah.
time, most
They were
boys
gone.
would be going on missions. And so what's going on? Like, what happened where all of a sudden, only if they want to, and if he wants to, like, it's like,
Mm.
no,
It's because they're accepting the world's concept of love. It's
yeah,
permeated itself all throughout the church. And so now the church has taken on, and when I say church, I'm being general, the members of the church, generally speaking, have taken on the world's definition of love, which is accept everyone, challenge nothing.
And they've put that onto Jesus now with the help of things like The Chosen.
Yep,
They believe this is what
correct.
Jesus was.
That's
He
that's
just
love
he
as far as
he
the
just
chosen
chilled.
goes.
He
Yeah.
just chilled with sinners. He just hung out with sinners, and was
yeah,
like, "Hey, what's up, sinners?
yeah.
My
We're all
homies.
cool, right? Yeah,
We're all cool,
yeah,
love and hip.
yeah.
Accountability,
Keep doing what you're
responsibility,
doing.
gone."
Yeah,
Yeah. May the one with the least, with no sin, cast the first stone. Oh, what they're saying is, we just gotta love. We've just gotta accept everything and everyone. Because you're a sinner. So who are you to say that we shouldn't accept everyone or love everyone? Jesus did. It's the same.
One story. It's so funny. One story. The cast the first stone. One stone, or a story. And you know what's so funny about that is that it's only contained in Luke. Matthew, Mark, John don't have the story. And even with the accounts of Luke that we have, like in the old scrolls and stuff, multiple different versions of it. And so anyway, but it's one of those ones where it's like, for some reason, we're like, all these biblical scholars and all these apologetics are always like, well, saved by grace after all we can do, like that actually should be translated despite all we can do. And it's like, no, no, we have the Book of Mormon. It was translated by Joseph Smith. The Bible, on the other hand, is the one that we had issues with translation. And this story we love telling of he who's free from sin cast the first stone. Why don't we go back and read some of the other versions of this written by Luke? Like the one where Jesus was writing in the sand and then he said, he who is free from this sin cast the first stone. How about that version? Maybe that makes a little bit more sense. Maybe what he was doing was calling out a very specific sin and saying, hey, if you're free from this sin, sure, go ahead and cast the first stone. But unfortunately, all those presents were guilty of that specific sin. And that's what made them unable or incapable of judging the woman. But anyway, it's just no accountability, no responsibility. It's gone. It's the raising the bar
That
is
was
crazy. How that
yeah,
just vanished. Just
That
vanished.
it eliminated.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't get it, man. And there's something to be said as well about the old mission rules. Do you know what I mean? Like, you remember when we went on a mission, you had your little white handbook, and that was the law, man.
white Bible.
Yeah, and that was the law. And I don't
Yeah.
like. I think they still have it. I mean, I've been a ward mission leader and recently, and so I talk to missionaries all the time. I'm pretty sure they still have it. I think it's a slightly different format now or whatever. But I don't know. I can't imagine it being the same rules that we had because the things. So like they at some point they had to have acquiesced, on some of these rules, like pulled back on some of them, because remember we weren't allowed to. I can't remember your guys' rules. I was only allowed to email my immediate family. I couldn't email anyone else. I couldn't,
Yep.
and write letters. I could write letters to anyone. I could only email my immediate family. That's how, and every
Same.
mission's going to be slightly different. But these days, man, they're having video chats to their families like on the on the daily basis almost. It's like what's happening, and but there's just something to be said about the old strictness of those rules. Once they acquiesce in some of these things, then all this other junk creeps in, and that's when like it's like, well, if you're allowing them to like video chat their families, and also we didn't have mobile phones back on our missions, right? Well, I didn't. I don't know about you guys, but I certainly didn't. But now they're able to like literally they have this capability to do the TikTok dances and do all these whack things, and the level of cringe that I get when I see all of this stuff happening is off the charts. And so I don't know, man. I miss the strictness. I feel like they've I don't know. In some regard, you got to allow some stuff maybe, but then in some regard, it allows too much. I don't know what you do about it, but it's cringe city over here for me. Um, and then one other thing I'll say about just sister missionaries, again, having been ward mission leader not too long ago, um, sister missionaries are supremely valuable. And again, not required to serve missions, but absolutely appreciate them when they do. And hate, as Eamon said, hate the thought, son or daughter going out and getting immersed in a ridiculous culture. And I would say that I think honestly, one of the main purposes of the church's mission program is to help maintain the active keep your children active in the gospel a little longer, because we're struggling to do that. I literally think that's one of the reasons that we serve missions as well.
Yeah.
I've said to these guys that in WA, and I think it's all over Australia, the missionaries are now no longer allowed to tract. So that's another recent change. I can't remember if we've discussed that in here at any point, but yeah, that was a shock to me. So tracting's always been a mainstay and a staple of all missions, right? But apparently now getting so much flack when they go tracting that they've been told no more tracting. And that's Australia wide. And they said the Pacific, I'm not sure how far that reaches out or whatever, probably mission by mission, but they said basically Australia wide, it's there's no more tracting. And so this just it's such a different world. And I can't get started, I'll just get ranting about this. The way they have to find now is obviously changing because they can't tract, right? And so they're doing all sorts of things. And this social media aspect of it feeds into the fact that they can't tract and they've got to try these other things. And anyway, it's cringe city, and unfortunately, and what Micah said is true too. Every time you get a like or anything, so I mean they could be doing all these videos and hoping to get finding opportunities out of them, but in all honesty, every time you get a like and a comment, everyone knows what that dopamine's like. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it and for the younger generations, it's probably even way worse. It's a weird,
addictive.
it's a weird thing. It's addictive. It is addictive, and so you don't want them to be focusing on that, and that's probably what may end up happening, and almost certainly does. And yeah, but it's a weird world we're living in, man. And yeah, who knows? Again, when when will it end?
When's enough? And all I
When's
hear
it-
is oh, it's the hastening the work, hastening work. Okay, then release the numbers.
Yeah.
Release the numbers. And I don't just mean the total baptism numbers. I mean how many new wards and stakes were created, how many were lost, how many people have asked to have their names removed. give me all the numbers. Show me all the numbers because for years people were told that they were conspiracy theorists and naysayers if they even opened their eyes and were like, especially in the United States, if people in the United States were like, is your congregation getting smaller? Because ours got smaller after COVID. Did yours get smaller?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh
Why did
yeah.
it get so small? And everyone was saying that in North America, and they were like, you're a naysayer. You're trying to tear down the church. And I'm like, no, I'm just saying. I opened my eyes. Where is everyone? And
We
for the
lost at least
first
30%.
yeah, and for the first time, they're finally acknowledging that membership in the United States is actually falling. And so it's like, okay, so like I get it. We're baptizing 100 million people over in, I don't know, Ghana or something. I get fine. But like show me the numbers worldwide. Like something's not working. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I hate to break it to you, but if you go to those places like Ghana, where they're baptizing 1 million people, and the United States, where we're losing everyone, you'll notice that the people in Ghana don't use social media the same way. You'll notice that these people that were baptized in these places seem to be poorer places that might not have access to social media in the same amount that these places over in the West do. So the places that have the most exposure to the dancing missionaries all seem to be dwindling numbers. So, like, just show me the numbers. If you're saying, you can't just keep saying, oh, the hastening of the work, the hastening of the work, because I know what the hastening of the work means. I've read the scriptures. Hastening of the work is hastening to the end. It's not, oh, an increase in numbers. That is never the context in which hastening the work is used in the word of God. It is always the hurricane's coming. We're hastening to the storm shelter. It's a hastening to the end. We're all gonna die. I'm just grabbing quickly everyone into the garner. That's the hastening of the work. So if we're going to start using it like hastening of the work is somehow means more numbers, show me them. And if you're not going to show them to me, then stop saying it.
Do you know what's funny is when I asked the missionaries, like when they said, "Oh, we're not allowed to tract anymore," I was like, "What?" I couldn't believe it. And when I said what was the reason, the first reason they said was, well, okay, the first reason they said was they cop a lot of pushback and flack when they tracked, right? Sure, fine. Haven't we always? But you
Yes.
still do it, yeah, but we always grow a pair, you know what I mean? But I mean, I guess it could be, the world is getting more dangerous. I'll accept that. But the second thing they said, oh, and the Lord's hastening his work. That was literally word for word what they said for it. And I was like, yeah, I get that, sure, but how does that, yeah. uh, anyway,
Yeah, the hastening of the work is like the I prayed about it. It's between me and the Lord. It's like okay, well, I guess conversation's over. Because define hastening the work. Do you mean more baptisms? Do you mean more stakes? Do you mean more wards? Okay.
mm,
Can I see those numbers? No, you can't. Okay. So I just have to accept your word for it. Got it. Okay. Cool. I guess that's just the end of the conversation. I prayed about it. But that's fine. We got a question now.
that's what before I play the thing, that's what they call unfalsifiable information. You can't question it. You can't get the answer. And this is the same thing about I prayed about the Spirit told me this. Cool, unfalsifiable. I can't prove that you didn't feel the Spirit to tell you. Some
Yeah.
of those the way it ends. You can't do anything about it. All right, ready?
Questions. Baby's got a question. Have you got a question? Well, here's a place to get it answered. It's the question of the week.
The week.
All right.
The week. I always feel like that idiot in the background was me. Question of the week.
Do you want me to do this? I can do this, and then
Question
also the news because I think Ammon's
Yep.
doing the last bit. I'll do this. All right, question of the week. Have not read this, so this is again a live reading. Okay, question of the week. I honestly am finding it hard to even send my daughter to mutual. 6 months in, and it's just a bunch of wasted time. No spiritual activities at all. It's let the youth lead, but the leaders give no direction, and so they end up doing whatever the majority wants. Sounds about right. Why am I sending my daughter for an hour activity where they play life-sized Candyland, and the leaders don't want to exclude the inactive youth that only come to activities, not Sunday lessons? It's just a mess. In my efforts to remove myself and my family from Babylon, it's hard to realize that it also means many, many members of the church. Can someone help me understand the point of girls' camp? Or is this a separate question, or is it like an addendum to the question?
Addendum to it as well, I think.
Yeah. So a second bit to this. Can someone help me understand the point of girls' camp? I'm the camp director for our ward, and I am struggling. Well, it's crazy.
Topher's like, why did I offer to read this?
There was a comment. There was a comment in Discord, and I commented on it this past week, and it was, what was it? In someone was said in their ward, what was it? The young women. Oh, do you recall what I'm talking about? And I commented on it. I said that's crazy. I couldn't believe it. It was the young women. Yeah. What was that? It was wild.
Can't say who that's from, but yes, I can scroll up and
yeah.
so the young women's activity this past week was dress up as your favorite Egyptian goddess,
Yeah.
study up on their powers, imagine you as the goddess, and create a story telling us about your day and how you would use your powers. Be creative and have fun. The power of the goddess. Discuss the roles of powerful female deities in Egyptian lore, such as Isis, the goddess of healing and motherhood, or Hathor, the goddess of love and music. Talk about how women and goddesses were highly respected in Egyptian civilization compared to other ancient civilizations and societies. Needless to say, our daughters did not attend this week.
Yeah. Now, that blew my mind, honestly. I can't believe that. Now, I understand the whole empowering girls and women and making them feel like and understanding their role as like daughters of God. I mean, that's always been the young women type of thing, right? Like you all understand your role, understand who you are. You're a daughter of God. Here's your divine purpose, right? Like and why you're important and powerful and all of these bits and pieces. And I understand that. I'm all for that. But trying to tie it to like a non-spiritual or like a secular sort of like historical thing rather than anything church related to me is like, are you joking? Are you joking? Like you can have fun. You could have some Egyptian fun or whatever, but like study their powers. What powers did they have? And like how's the goddess blah blah, it's like, what are you doing? What are we doing here?
For a
Choose a
church
good
activity.
yeah, for a church activity. What are you doing? Like choose a good female role model. You know what I mean? There's many yet few of them. You know what I mean? Like there is many,
Not
but yet
Emma.
it's just not Emma. But like there's there's a whole heap of them, but also they're not as common as all the male heroes, let's say, but there's some great ones. And what are you doing, man? What are we doing? So, and then to get back to this comment here, this question, we're playing life-size Candyland and da da da, and it's like I also understand this as well, because if you guys would have gone through, I went through Young Men, now they call it Mutual or whatever. We never called it that. Went through Young Men with Ammon, and I get playing fun games, right? Like I will say that probably half of the reason of youth activities is to give the youth a place to congregate and to be with each other. But if you let them just run the circus, you're going to have a circus, and you know what I mean. Like, or you're letting the monkeys run the zoo. Do you know what I mean? They need some direction. You can't let them, or you will literally be playing life-size Candyland every activity and not having any productive, good. And there should always be a spiritual aspect to everything, right? Like you're not every single time maybe going to have that, but you should be trying, and the leaders should be really trying to bolster and build that culture. So yeah, it's a mess, as this person said, and yeah, trying to remove yourself and your family from Babylon, and it's hard to realize that this is what we're doing in the church, and we're looking at goddesses, and it's like, what the heck? And then the camp bit. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to comment and then talk about the camp bit separately or whatever. Yeah.
Removing yourself from Babylon is funny though, because it's like you think like the natural inclination would be, okay, I want to spend less time in Babylon, so I'm going to spend more focus on church and church activities. That's the natural inclination, right? So then you're like, you show up and it's like, oh, today we're going to be going to a movie. Today we're going to be talking about Egyptian goddesses. And you're like, wait, what? This is actually worse than what I was doing over here. Like I thought this was gonna be like better. I thought we were all gonna be like in nuns outfits, like going like I thought. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking, but I think that's kind of like their with parents' image in their mind, where it's like like when they're trying to be better, it's like, well, let's focus more on the church, and it's like, yeah, well, unfortunately, you're not running these activities. As far as these activities, and as far as the girl camps and stuff like that. I don't understand how you answer any of this stuff anymore without sounding to the world sexist and without promoting sexist stereotypes. That's what the world would say. I don't know how you do that. I know what these things used to be. I know that Boy Scouts wasn't simply, it was about creating a fellowship of men that were actually men that could survive, that knew how to start a fire, that actually had survival skills and understood how difficult it was to simply survive. To think about things like, how would I keep myself warm? How would I keep others warm? How would I keep them protected from the elements? And to create a bond of malehood in that regard. Like, but completely sexist stereotypes, what people would say. That completely. And girls camp, girls stuff, okay? I'm telling you, you go back 50 years, 70 years. You know what you started having with these women activities? Sewing, cooking. These were the activities. These were activities to train women how to be women. There were skill sets that were, how do you make crepes? How do you make ravioli? How do let's teach you how to journal and scrapbook so that you can create a journal and scrapbook for your family. That's what these activities were. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, well, we're going to scrap the Boys Scouts. And or before that, it was like, well, women were like, I can be a boy too and run around and get dirty. So like, okay, here's a girls' camp for you. Well, there you go. And then the boys are like, okay, well, we're getting out of Boys Scouts, and it's like, okay, why are we still in this with girls? And it's like, well, we're gonna make it spiritual. So we're all just gonna go eat food and just sit around a campfire crying, teaching our daughters the opposite of what the Holy Ghost is. We're going to teach our daughters that free flowing tears and emotions are equated with the Holy Ghost. And that's what we're going to do for 2 hours. So, what is it now? I'll tell you what it is now. It is it's a prolonged bastardization of an already bastardized fast and testimony meeting. That's all it is. Every time I've heard it, it's like basically that's all they talk about. Sitting around a campfire, talking about our faithful stuff, and we were just all crying, and then she was crying, and then we were all crying, and it's like, okay, cool, cool. Hate to break it to you, that's not a testimony. That's not the spirit. It's not going to build anything. It's not going to keep you active, and it's sure as heck not creating any skills that are going to be any useful in any marriage. So, um, what would you do in a situation like that? You'd have to move it to things that matter. And I have no idea how to answer that without sounding completely sexist. Just like with missionary work, raising the bar. It's like I have no idea how to even talk about this anymore without just getting attacked. Like, with raising the bar, they even would say if you were too fat, you couldn't go on a mission. That people
Oh yeah.
maybe don't even remember that. Like, it was your weight. They were
Oh yeah.
even measuring your BMI before you go on a
Hmm.
mission. Like they did not care about your quote unquote feelings.
Yeah.
That was part of the raising the bar where it was like, yeah, oh yeah, you're too fat. You need to lose some
Yeah.
weight before we can get you on a
I
mission.
remember. I remember we had a big boy on my mission, and actually we had two of them, and it was like, dang, how did you get out of here, baby? How did you? How did they let you out of here? And just FYI, they still do that, but you've got to be really, really big now for it to like really, really big for them to stop.
For them to finally be like, look,
Not booking two airline chairs, airline seats.
you're going to
Yeah.
die on a mission, and we can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no
Repatriate.
idea I have no idea how to answer that without sounding sexist or hurting someone's
No, and
feelings.
this is the world we live in now. This is
Yeah.
it. Yep.
Anything, Ammon?
I think I'd be the broken heart. What's it? Violin.
Record.
If I just added to it, I think it's all the same sort of stuff. I had great experiences as a youth on those camps where we had genuinely positive spiritual experiences, and I've been a leader at those camps where I've had some of the best spiritual discussions with the youth that I've ever had around the campfire and stuff. And so I see the value when it's done in ways that lend itself to be a spiritual experience. But I can also see that when no one cares and when there's no spiritual involvement, it is literally just a waste of time and a mess, and it will typically lead them in worse paths. And also, as far as the activities go, you can there's such a difference between creating activities that bond people together so that they want to spend time together talking about the gospel, doing things together to serve others. There's a big difference between those types of activities, even when they don't have a clear spiritual purpose necessarily, apart from just bonding and spending time, versus activities that absolutely draw one away from truth, like the Egyptian god garbage. And it's just funny. It just reminds me of an experience when we were all young in my family, and we've mentioned it before. But our dad took us to this fireside. Probably took us like an hour to get there, maybe an hour and a half. And it was from a professional paleontologist who was doing this massive multi-stake fireside about the gospel of Jesus Christ and dinosaurs. And we went and sat down there hoping that he was going to be like, okay, guys, so you can believe in dinosaurs and the gospel, and this is why, or, here's what I understand. And the evidence simply backs up Jesus Christ. And literally all he did was started talking about paleontology, and it's millions of years old and this and that. And, just tons of garbage that flies in the face of established doctrine. And my dad got us all up in the beginning of it, basically got us all to stand up and walk out, took us all out in front of everyone, jumped in the car and drove it an hour and a half home.
Why do I
And
have
it
no
was,
remembrance of this? What the
I
heck?
remember it. I remember it clear as anything. I'll never forget it. And it's just one of those things that I'll never forget. And I think to myself, if I'm ever put in those positions, just remember, Ammon, stand up, grab your kids,
Walk away.
take them out into the car, walk away.
How old were we when that happened?
I was young. I reckon I was probably about 12.
Wow. I
11.
can't recall unless maybe we talk about it and go into some specifics about it. I can't really remember it. Anyway, that's crazy.
Yeah, I remember that clear as day.
Topher's sitting there totally blanked out.
I'm like, what?
Bones.
Am I part of this family? What's going on? My memory sucks though, but yeah,
Let's
I was gonna,
go.
just one more thing I'll add on to Ammon's comments is that having people together, people, adults, youth, whatever it might be, can build each other up in a good way. And it's very similar to what Ammon was thinking of, and I've forgotten my actual point here, but people can build each other up in a good way, or like you could focus on good things together, and you can easily focus on bad things, and meaning that you focusing on, and again, if we use the Candyland example or whatever, right? And let the kids run it, whatever. These kids are going to come away probably having had fun, but here's what I was thinking. I'm on it now. If you're struggling spiritually, right? If all of your youth are struggling spiritually, and you let those youth run the activity, and there's no oversight, governance, or care from the leaders. And I know what it's like to be a youth, right? And I've been to many church camps, many youth activity. Just imagine how many. And by the way, I'll say, like we had, we called them conventions. I don't know what did you guys ever have youth conventions and stuff, Micah? I don't know what you like call them, but basically everyone, I think you had to be 14. I think it was between 14 and 18, and we'd go on. Yeah. And we would do them sometimes multi-stake even, I think, because we didn't have so many. Yeah. They were some of the funnest times of my whole life. I'm not even kidding. They were the funnest things we ever. It was so fun. They organized the greatest activities. It was so many friends there that we'd make and things. But also, and I've used this, I remember talking about some examples from this in our old Come Follow Me podcast. But I also saw some of the boys would split off, and you'd find them swearing together and talking about garbage in little groups amongst themselves and things like this, right? And so trying to be cool, or just deviancy, or just trying to just go against the grain, or whatever it is, right? Trying to be cool. Anyway, my point is, if your kids are struggling spiritually and you let them run the show, that spiritual struggle will rub off on the other kids.
Yeah.
If your kids are, or let's say that if leaders get involved and make sure to make the activity a spiritually uplifting and edifying experience, can still be fun, then even if those kids are struggling spiritually, they will have touched on a spiritually uplifting experience. So I guess that's the point I'm making, is that if you let the monkeys run the zoo, there's going to be poop flying around everywhere. And but my main point is that if you let spiritually struggling kids, which, let's be honest, in at some stage they all go through it, people become who they hang around. We've talked about this many times. You become who if you respect and you have good friends and you become best friends with these kids and they struggle spiritually, it can affect your testimony. It's how we operate. You become who you hang around. And so what I'm saying is, like, they need more guidance. Don't
And you
let the
can
kids
only
just candle it every week.
lift somebody to the level that you're at. And so
Exactly.
if the kids all suck, like, they're only going to be able to lift others to the level of sucking. You need somebody else, and that's a cultural thing that changed in the church from Joseph Smith to today. And I wish we could go back to the way it was with Joseph Smith. Like, today, the idea is, oh, this guy was recently baptized. Let's make him in charge of the youth. Let's make him a young men's president or something, and let's just put him in there and he'll learn. And the Lord qualifies whom he calls, right? And we have this belief, or this mindset where it's like, let's call the most unqualified people to the most valuable positions in our units, because the Lord will qualify them for the work. But the bishops and stake presidents and area authorities and apostles, no, they have to have a proven track record and have to have climbed the ladder. Like, in fact, I heard an apostle say, I won't say which one, but I heard an apostle say, there's wisdom in the Lord doing it this way, because he gets apostles now that are experienced and know how to do the calling. And it's like, wait, so, we have to have an apostle that's been an Area 70 for 40 years before he can be called okay. But John over there, who we don't even know if he's on some child predator list, we can just throw him in with the youth immediately because the Lord qualifies who he calls. It's completely backwards. It's completely, utterly backwards from the way it's supposed to be. Because I'll tell you this, and maybe I'm blowing smoke up people's rears here a little bit, but that's fine. You put Ammon in charge of the Candyland activity, even if it's Candyland, it's gonna have some spiritual aspects of it. I will trust that Ammon will find a way, because I know who Ammon is. I know he's not. I hope that he won't just be like, oh, it's like Candyland, boys and girls. He'll find some way. And so the problem with all of these activities isn't actually, if you're being honest, the activity. It's that we don't trust who's in these callings anymore, and we shouldn't. And we're not calling the most qualified spiritual people into the most important callings. Your most powerful people in your units probably should be in charge of your youth. Probably should.
Mhm.
They should be the ones that are in charge of your young men's, your young women's. They should be those ones that can keep the fire in them, answer their questions, show a burning testimony every week. Those are those people that should be there, not your, women activists and so forth. It just shouldn't be the case.
I
But we
suppose
don't. We
it is
don't do it
interesting
anymore.
though that the bishops are now responsible for young men's, at least, which is kind of cool. I don't know how it looks in America, where you've got a ward that's actually got enough people to fill all the callings, but over here, the bishop, I don't know what Ammon's ward looks like. Ammon's ward's way more bigger than mine, but our bishop runs young men's, and so that's good. And I love my bishop's fantastic, so that's nice. And he would certainly be doing the right thing there. So I guess that's a good thing. You want good people running young men's. The bishops do it now. More work for them, but I guess you guarantee, as long as you got a good bishop, you're gonna have some good youth activities. But yeah, anyway. Crazy times, crazy world. But you know what? In these crazy times, we can always turn to our 3 favorite news anchors.
Tune in to Channel Free, Channel Free Brothers, for this week's headlines. With your anchors Topher, Micah, and Ammon. Get get your week's headlines. Channel 3. Yeah.
It's so funny because I would say one or two people, were really upset because why is Israel appearing in the Three Brothers news every week? And it's like it's been now like a
Because-
month of nothing, and no one said anything. It's like because it was kind of in the news at the time, you dummies. Like, it was
Yeah.
kind of big news, you know. Kind of
And
big
in
news.
a
Now-
way, it's always in the news and affecting everything. You know what I mean? So we could literally keep it in there, and yeah. All right,
forever.
let's do it. This week's headlines. We're losing Ammon, so we're gonna pep him up and go hammer through this. All right. So number one, teacher learns make the kids kiss, and this is gonna be funny because I think I had a quick look at this. I know two, maybe only a couple of these things, so this is all new to me. Teacher learns make the kids kiss is not an approved teaching strategy. Who would have thought? Denver school officials reportedly drew the line at grading same-sex children on kissing assignments. What the heck? Every child, every identity, every kiss. Kissing assignment A minus. I don't know, man. So what do you know what the story is here? Like they were trying to make
Teacher-
kids kiss as part of the
No, not trying. Teacher was making kids kiss, gay kids kiss, and then grading how unsexist and how well and they were kissing each other.
Okay, that is firstly the most insane thing I've ever heard. Just gay kids?
I think I don't know. I think it was like
it gets
I
even
think it was
worse if she's
mostly
making
gay.
straight kids kiss gay kids. But anyway, that's
oh no, that's no. That was what it was. Straight kids. It was like
oh no.
it was So it was like you, Micah, kiss John,
Oh
and
man. Okay.
and how untransphobic you act is your grade. Basically, is how it was.
Excuse,
working.
Oh my-
excuse my millennial self, but that's the gayest thing I've ever heard.
Literally. Absolutely, literally. I hope this teacher like I don't know what you do with it. I think they should go to jail. That's crazy. That is crazy.
But like going back to the rant, when's enough enough? Like if you found out that your son was made to kiss Charlie in
Oh
school,
dude.
like
Oh man.
Don't even want to
Seriously?
think about it.
seriously,
Yeah, I
wanna
don't,
like
think
I
about
don't
that.
want to tell you what I'll do. Yeah.
like this, like it's crazy. As far as I know, the lady didn't get knocked out, and so it's like
Mm.
how
Mm.
are people so okay with this that
I'm actually, do you know what I actually think about? I find it interesting and crazy. There are so many terrible things happening on a daily basis, particularly to women, right? To girls. Like, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
there's an insane amount of rape going on all the time from these migrant rape gangs and things like this, right? Just all sorts of things like this. And I'm like, not only do half of these rapists never go to jail or prison because nothing ever happens, but like, where's the dads? Like, if
where's the dads?
I don't know, man. Where's the dads? Like, I would be the retribution would be godly. Do you know what I mean? Like, it would be. Anyway, I don't know. So and then if something like this, something simple like this happened to my son or daughter, I would be furious. I'd be livid. I'd be down there, and yeah, something would be going on. So I just find it interesting that things like this happen, and I'm not ever hearing about the parent of the kid that's gone to jail for blah blah blah. I'm like, what do these people
Yeah.
do? Like, are they so apathetic that they don't care? Are they so I don't know, like what's going on? Or are they so liberal that they're like, yeah, that's actually fine? I don't know. Either way, I'm shocked. And again, this makes me scared to send my kids to school, which is why I'm not. So
100%, 100%.
yeah,
Don't send your kids to school.
yeah, wild, eh? So that's crazy. All right. We good on that one? Number 2. All right, yeah, this is current. Trump successfully reopens Strait that was already open. Administration declares victory over geographic feature previously operating normally. Strait of reasonableness open again. Classic. I was thinking. I think it's funny that through this whole thing that they didn't rename it the Strait of America at some point. You know what I mean? Like I would totally expect Trump to go, "This is now
If he won
the
it,
Strait
he
of
did.
Strait of America." Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, Trump always pat himself on the back for a job well done when it was, you know, something already happening, already going
I'm
on.
trying to think, man, because even the Afghan, like where we fled and people were jumping off the planes and stuff, like I think that you might have to go back to Vietnam to find a geopolitical event that will embarrass Americans more than this. Like I genuinely like history books of any sane person would look at this and be like, let me get this straight. You guys cheered when he ripped up the quote unquote Obama deal with Iran. Yeah, because we shouldn't be giving millions of dollars to Iran. Okay. And you were completely for, yeah, no wars in Iran. And yes, okay. But now all of a sudden we're completely okay with wars in Iran. Not only that, because they could have nuclear weapons. Exactly right. But that's because you ripped up the deal, Obama's deal. Obama's deal was we pay them money and then they promise us that they weren't going to make nukes. You stop paying them money, now all of a sudden you're like, they could make nukes. Yeah, no kidding. That's what we were in before. Well, now we got to go to war. Okay, go to war. Now we've lost the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, well, we kind of had that. Well, now they're gonna. Here's the new deal. We could pay. We're already going to give 20 billion apparently. We could pay an additional $300 billion to quote unquote repair Iran on this. $300 billion. And in that, Iran still contains control of the strait. They'll allow things to go through, and they could tax it. And they could tax ships that go through there. Now, I'm telling you this, the Obama deal was not $300 billion, folks. So we literally went to war, spent all this money on the missiles and stuff that we sent, lost it. They've gained the Strait of Hormuz now. It's now theirs. And we're now agreeing to pay them upwards of 320, I think, $billion so long as they promise not to build nukes again. Folks, that's the Obama deal. That was the Obama deal, except much, much worse. Um, this will go down as one of the more embarrassing United States foreign affairs, I think, since Vietnam. And I think Vietnam's just taught improperly. But this will be taught properly because no one likes Trump, and this is embarrassing. This is just embarrassing.
Yeah, they'll make sure it's taught. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
I was going to say,
Well,
I'm grateful we went from a gay headline to a straight one.
Whoa!
Oh, he's coming in
But-
with the zingers.
Whoa!
But
Whoa!
you know, it is actually still probably gayer than the first one because not only did they go in and spend billions and billions of dollars semi-destroying a
Gayer than the
country,
first one.
yeah, it's they spent all this cash, wasted everybody's money, pumped up all the taxes because of this. Gas went through the roof, all this sort of stuff to destroy a country and kill people in order to what? Capitulate and then rebuild what they just destroyed and spend more money again. What was the successful outcome here? Literally nothing. Just went backwards. I don't want to rehash, but we literally just went so far backwards again. That yeah, it maybe is a gayer headline than the first one, despite that it's all about the strait.
And then headline number 3 is even gayer again.
Oh, that's okay.
It's just
Dude, this one,
This
This is just the
they're
news,
getting gayer,
guys. This
Yeah.
is just the news.
this is the
Yeah.
one that made me just
We
snap
can't help
this
it.
week.
This is just the news. It was born this way. Okay. This one I did see. It's terrible. It's angered and infuriated me more than anything. But gay couple convicted of horrific crimes after media assures us sexual orientation was the important part. Yes, this is the annoying part. Experts recommend focusing on literally anything except what happened to the child. So the news story being that, again, by the way, and how many times has this happened? It seems to be a limitless amount of times. A gay couple adopted a child, which is essentially, when it comes down to it, purchasing a baby, purchasing a child is what they do. Had the child for 4 months, I think is what it was. And the amount of abuse that this child suffered in the time that these guys owned the child, let's say, is off the charts. It was physical, it was sexual, it was exploitative, it was taking photos and videos and doing all sorts and sharing them around, until the child died from the torture he suffered. And it is absolutely infuriating to me. And I would say again on this, when is enough enough? Why is this allowed to happen? And have they not
Why aren't
proven-
they immediately beheaded?
cut their heads off
Mm.
straight away, hang them in public? Why are we not doing that? Why is that?
Ignominious death.
Yes, straight away. I agree.
So
I'm all for death
offensive.
penalty, man. There are so many people who need to be killed instantly, you know. But what I like, has this not now happened enough times that we're kind of like that there's a clear problem here? Maybe we should not allow this. And I don't care how liberal you want to be and how whatever and supportive of the sexual orientation.
I
Perhaps
just don't care.
perversion's perversion, and I don't care anymore. And I prefer and find the safety of a child more important than the pleasure of gay men.
Yeah.
Or perverts in general, whatever. I don't care. I don't care if you want to buy and raise a child. I don't care. It's happened too many times, and this is infuriating. And I don't know what the general public response has been to this. I'm scared. I'm scared to look at what it might be, because people always seem to take the opposite side to what I think is the appropriate side to take, and I'm sick of that too. So when is enough enough?
Or
Again,
nuance.
on this.
Or nuance.
Yeah,
I don't want a
It's like,
nuance.
how do you
No.
defend? How is this defensible from any point of view?
I don't
and yet
care.
They will. Yeah, I don't care anymore either. Yeah, I agree. And again, if I had my way, these guys would be lynched instantly in public.
I agree. Like this is an ignominious death sort of thing. Like I can't, and I'm very, very empathetic, and I'm also a very highly, I want to know what people are thinking, why things are the way they are. I can't, the amount of lines that you have to cross in your soul to be okay. I'm okay being gay. I'm okay being gay and married. I'm okay with this getting a kid. I'm okay abusing a child in this way this many times and killing it. Like the lines, like it's just it's just I don't really know how you live with yourself. Like I like at some point in time it's like forget what I'm doing to you. The fact that these two haven't lynched themselves is like, dude, there's something seriously sick and wrong in our society right now. Like there are some sick people walking amongst us that's like this is
Absolutely.
Clearly,
I-
after
I-
a while, they crossed enough of these lines that the alarm bells turned off.
yeah.
You know what I mean? They do this, they do that, and then all of a sudden, once you've taken a couple of steps into the darkness, it's just like, oh, well, it's pitch black in here. I mean, anything goes in here. The alarm bells are off.
Hmm.
And I think that's just what happens. Now, people are going to hear us talk about this and they're going to be like, okay, you guys are such bigots. You just hate gay people. We don't. It's what people do that we hate. Like when people do bad things is what we hate. Now, would we feel good about a couple, a heterosexual couple, going to adopt children, and after some background checks, it turned out that they abused children? And no, we would not want them to adopt kids. Would you want them to do a background check and just find out that they were just generally horrible people or dangerous people, or maybe didn't have the best intentions with the children, or they had a bad track record, or they'd spent time for a serious crime in jail or whatever? No, none of those people should be able to adopt. Like, let's play it.
I'd
play
have
it
the
with
same level of outrage, not
Exactly.
mattering the sexual
Play
identity
it
of the
with-
people.
I think it's important to say, because a lot of these have, for some reason, been about gay people, but we love everybody. What we don't love is bad behavior. And it goes for heterosexual people too. So if a heterosexual group of people kept doing stuff like this, then there'd need to be a serious overhaul on the whole thing.
Mm.
If gay people continuously bought these kids effectively and they were doing stuff like this, massive overhaul required. And on top of that, the punishment needs to so genuinely fit
Match.
the crime.
Yes.
Like it's like
never
there's
does ever.
if when people do the absolutely most heinous things that you can possibly conceive like this. There's not much more heinous I can possibly imagine, nor would I want to
What?
try to imagine.
Murder and
I don't want
sexual
to.
assault. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
I don't
of
want
the
to.
most
I
innocent.
don't.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
I
is
don't even.
death not
I
the
don't even want
appropriate
to.
punishment?
There's no other. There's
You know?
nothing else
Yeah.
more appropriate than death. And in fact, there is one more appropriate, which would be like
Torture.
A slow
significant
death.
pain and suffering and then a death. Like some medieval stuff. But anyway, I just think it was important to throw in there that people might have accidentally clicked this link, and they might not know us, and they might just instantly be going, "Oh, these people just hate gays." I think what we are for is equity for everyone. The Lord expects us to be good people, and good people He's going to, take care of and be fair with, and all that sort of stuff. And if you're not good people, and you're clearly sinning against Him and breaking the laws, and like, why can't we call that out? And if we see repeat offenses, stuff like this, I mean, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. So at some point, you have to put a line in the sand and say, I'm not for this. I'm not for this. This is not for us. I don't think this builds a good society. I say no. And if people start hearing this and going, well, I disagree with that, I think you're a bad person. Well, just remember, there's a reason why all these countries out there all of a sudden are starting to go extreme far right. I'm not saying I'm far right. I'm just saying people are so sick and tired and fed up with this stuff, and they feel trapped, and they feel like they're not heard, and they feel like they can't control what the world is doing, to the point where it's falling apart, and their only choice is to go and do something or point to something extremely radical to try and get some kind of change. And that's also not necessarily a good thing. So we all need to, like, you've got an opinion, I've got an opinion, but I just want to be able to stand for something, And this is something that I stand against. Simple.
Which brings us to headline number 4, actually. Exactly what you just said there. But I just want to say, forgive us for noticing patterns, right? I've noticed too many patterns and too many things going on, and
Pattern recognition.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
Pattern recognition.
Mm.
I'm seeing too much of it. And so enough's enough.
This
Anyway,
this isn't a problem with heterosexual adoptions and foster care. It's not. Has it
Not at the same
happened?
levels,
Of
anyway.
course it happened.
Yeah.
But at the same level, not even remotely. That's why every single time they make a movie about the Christian foster care, it's never sexual abuse. It's always they just did it for the money. That's the
Yeah,
stereotype in Hollywood.
they didn't love them.
They didn't love the
Mhm.
kids, they just did it for money. That's the stereotype. The stereotype is, oh, they didn't love them enough, they just did it for the money. It's never, oh, they abused them in physical ways until they died as infants. That's never the stereotype. That will be the stereotype here. And I will say, as part of enough being enough and having different opinions, this is one of those ones where it's like, this is the point in time where enough is enough. I can't share a society with somebody who looks at this and believes that these people are okay or should be defended or they should go into a mental institution. Like, if you believe that that people like this who do something like this should not just be taken out of our society, it's getting to a point in time where it's like, when is enough to be
can't
enough?
share
Be
society.
like, I
Yeah.
can't share society with you. Like, I
Yeah.
literally cannot share society. That opinion makes it so we cannot share space. Enough is
Not
enough.
compatible.
We're
Mhm.
not compatible because these people need to die. I am not okay with paying for their food. I'm not okay with paying for their lodging. They just need to die. They
Mm.
need to go.
Yeah.
And
100.
that's not an acceptable opinion to have. Like, I can't. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you have that opinion? Like, we got problems. We got problems in Bears. But yeah, so
Yeah. Amen.
and that's
Okay,
number
so
4.
again, leading into number 4, this is what happens when things go too far. So Belfast riots, this is what I referenced earlier in the podcast. Belfast riots break out after attempted beheading. Journalists spend 6 hours trying to determine which part of the story is problematic. Yeah, sounds about right. So yeah, so I forget where the immigrant was from. It was an immigrant man. I don't know if you guys recall where he was from. It doesn't really matter probably, but an immigrant tried to decapitate someone in the streets in Belfast, and finally, and again, as we say, when is enough enough? When is enough enough? The Belfastians, I don't know what you call them, the natives to Belfast have finally, I suppose, had enough and risen up, and they have gone through and started riding and going through Belfast, and they've actually started burning. And again, you can debate the what's appropriate here, right? Now, I guess you could say, look, none of this is appropriate at all as a response, but when people have had enough of the garbage, what happens? This is what happens. They've gone through and they've started burning any migrant-related hotel and home, basically, as a response to the migrant issue. And so, again, all I'll say is this is what happens when people have had enough. And so it's interesting. And so the fight,
And
like,
you
they
can't
keep
share
up
the
with it.
same space.
And this is the problem. We're actually not compatible, like on so
No.
many levels. And then when it finally comes to your doorstep, right? Because everyone goes, that's it's happening in the town over.
Yeah.
I hear Michigan, by the way, Mike. I hear Michigan's got all sorts of issues with immigrants and stuff. So that's interesting. But when it's always like, oh, look, it's in the town over, and it doesn't affect me in my face. But when it finally affects you in your face, and you've got to deal with it, like literally, yeah, you can imagine something going down. And this is what I think's happened. It's happened in their city, in their town. They've seen it happen with their eyes, and they've finally had enough. So they're burning so many buildings. The fire brigade can't keep up, can't put them out. And there's all sorts going on. So I'm not going to give my opinion on the matter, but this is what happens.
I just think it's really interesting that a couple of years ago there were riots all over the place, particularly North America, about racial concerns, and the left-leaning populists, including the media, including political parties, were absolutely welcoming it. They were guzzling it down, and they were shoving it down everybody's throat, saying, this is righteous, this is good. We should be rioting, we should be destroying neighborhoods, we should be destroying everybody's lives, we should be destroying businesses, we should be smashing property, because we must stand for something that we believe in. Now, guys, guess what? Keep that same level of energy, keep that same vibe, and keep that same honesty for these people who are also doing the same thing for something that they believe in. They believe that they've been cheated. They believe their countries have been swindled. Their way of life has been destroyed. Their culture has been watered down. Their people are unsafe. They're being raped. They're being murdered. They're being stabbed. They're having their eyes slashed. And now they're taking a stand in ways that they know how. They don't know any other way to do this. So all you media outlets there, let's hear the praise. All you people out there that were praising all the racial riots in America a couple of years ago, people destroying everything and property and all that sort of stuff, I want you to bring that same energy to this. If you can support all them protesting and rioting for something and they believe on, then why can't you do it for these guys? Oh, it's because you don't like what they're rioting about. Oh, okay. So I think then we all need to take a step back and then just say, okay, well, what we don't support is necessarily the means, right? But then we can understand how people will go, well, here's my line, and I want to stand for something. We should at least appreciate that. But keep some intellectual integrity. If you supported all those rights then you have to, by rights, be supporting all these riots now.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to
Bills.
say this one little last thing. Don't know what it means if you're a person from Belfast. Like, I don't know what you call them, but what it should be is Belfastners.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that this guy was killed too. I should point this out. It was the manner in which he was killed, and I think the image of it. It wasn't just the brutality of the murder. It was the image of an immigrant straddling an old man that he's trying to behead, and he has his hands out like this, and he's challenging the whole city. What are you gonna do? None of you are gonna do anything. And that's I think that is literally Isaiah 10. That is literally it. It's I'm stealing the eggs from your nest. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Yeah.
None of you are lifting a wing or putting up a peep. What are you gonna do? And I guess Belfast. I guess some Irish lads said, "Oh, I guess we're going to show you what we're going to do. We've had enough." And And I've said this, by the way, since going back to, you can actually find an article on my website from, what was it, 2018, and I said that this will create the mafia again, and this will create things like the Northern Irish Springs. Like, this will create these situations again, because when the police cease to provide protection and get rid of these groups, organized gangs will. And you will go to the mafia and say, "Hey, my daughter was raped. This happened. Like, this was going on. Protect me and my family, and get these people out of the city." And the mafia will go, "For you, my friend, we will do this. We will do this thing."
Yeah, because the police
And
ain't doing it.
because
Yeah.
they're not doing anything, and they will go in and murder all these people, and that's what's going to start happening. You're going to start having gang on gang violence, as these things get cleaned up. It will be just simply deporting these people right now and just saying, "Look, I'm
Mm.
sorry. Even if we gave you citizenship, you got to go back." Will create less bloodshed than in the future, because this will get bloody. I've said it since
Yeah,
2018.
if this happened to my daughter, or like, I mean, if in this exact scenario, this exact story, if that was my dad and someone did that to him, my wrath, as I said before, would be godly, right? And if something happened to my daughter, and then the police response, it's never an appropriate response. It's always like toned down. They always go to, they'll get their court date and they'll go, "Oh, they're from wherever. They don't understand. 6 months probation." And it's like, if that
What?
happens,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like if that happened and it was my daughter that it happened to, oh,
Don't.
Don't
but
say
what I mean? Like,
anything.
you better believe that I'm not going to be putting
Don't.
up with that.
It's not even just
No, but you know what I mean?
it's not even just
But
the
here's the thing,
vengeance,
right?
it's also preventive. You also have the
Preventative,
mind of yeah.
because they'll do it again.
This won't
right?
happen
They
to
got
another
no-
daughter. Yeah.
but yeah. But also, this is what I would do for my daughter. But like, should we not all be enraged the same about everyone's daughters?
Correct.
This happening too, you know?
Yes.
And but for some reason we're like, oh, well, it's not my, you know. This is crazy what we put up with, and the justice
Did-
that we get is not.
Did you
appropriate.
know that? Did you know that this is the first time in history that the Catholics and the Protestants marched together as one for a cause
Nice.
in Belfast? The first time they ever met in the middle of the street and marched together and protest unified over anything in their entire history.
They were like, this gotta go. This has to go.
Yeah, like we've got our differences, but we can all agree that we have to be united on this one thing. So, and none of us, again, people are listening to this while we rant and rave. A lot of what we talk about is satire. A lot of what we talk about is concepts and feelings and stuff like that. It's also important to know that just because we talk
I'll kill
about
you
something
all.
doesn't mean we support a position either. None of us are saying that we should go out there and riot. None of us are saying that the rioting is the right thing. But what we are saying is that people are fed up and this is now the reaction. We're just commenting on what we're seeing and we're commenting on the reactions that they're causing.
And
And we can
logical
see from
conclusions. Like,
and
I
the
think it's gonna
conclusions.
happen. I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
good or bad. It's just like, this
Ex-
will be
exactly.
the next step.
Exactly. So I think it's just important for those that accidentally click and those that listen to this and they draw long bows and make instant conclusions about who we are. You know,
Next week,
Accidental clickers.
Topher's all
They need-
painted with a picture of him in the street.
Yeah, we need to constantly provide context for the accidental clickers, man.
Yeah, all three of them.
Yeah. All right. Last one. Is this a happy note? I hope so. Number
It's
5.
happy fun.
It looks like it. Missing woman found alive after 3 days in mud. Woman devastated to learn rugged outdoorsman once again solved the problem. Was expecting help from a bear. Would you want to run into a man or a bear? Oh, that's funny. That's gold. I don't know the story. So some lady got lost, I suppose, or something.
Lost and then
was-
apparently got stuck in mud. So apparently she was literally
Mm.
stuck in mud, unable to move, like quicksand, for 3 whole days.
Yeah, that would be rough.
And
That would be
Yogi the bear was just nowhere to be found to help her out of her problems. Hey, Yogi the bear. Well, just couldn't help.
If she's a real liberal woman and she's like, oh man, there's men here. No, you know.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah,
I can
where's
do it.
Boo-Boo?
I can hike on my own.
I don't need a man.
Mistakes were
I need a
made.
bear.
Mistakes were
Anyway,
made.
that's good. That's good that she was saved. That's nice. Good
Yeah,
for
so
her.
she's alive, but yeah, dirty outdoor men found her. I think they were hunters too. I think they, I think it was like the worst case scenario.
And then she refuses their help. They're like, "We'll help you out
Yeah,
of the nah, nah."
the two rednecks in camo and guns were like, "Oh, there be a woman in distress."
Uh,
She's unconscious. Should we ask her before saving her? I don't know the protocols.
we don't have consent. Yeah.
I don't have consent. Yeah, so anyway,
All
that's
right.
good.
That
So
is the week's news
some
from your
men doing some
three
good.
brothers headline anchors. All right. Very nice.
Tune in next week
Okay.
to see the Western Front.
Spiritual, spiritual. Come on, let's get spiritual. Let's talk spiritual. Let me get you spiritual, spiritual. Let me get you spiritual. Oh, spiritual, spiritual. Put it down. Give me your spiritual thought.
Yeah.
Break it down.
All right, let's break it down and get spiritual. This spiritual thought this week is taken from some lessons that I was going over this week in 1 Samuel, in particular the story of David and Goliath, which is an absolute barn burner and one of my favorites. So I thought we'd go into just a tiny little bit of that together here. Starting in verse 32 in chapter 17, and David said to Saul, "Let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine." And Saul said to David, "Thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth." And David said to Saul, "Thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock. And I went out after him, and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth. And if he arose against me, then I caught him by his beard, and smote him, and slew him. Thy servant hath slain both the lion and the bear. And this uncircumcised Philistine, Goliath of Gath, shall be as one of them, seeing he hath defied the armies of the living God." And David said, "The Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine." And Saul said unto David, "Go, and the Lord be with thee." This is a beautiful section of an already complex and beautiful section of scripture. What I really, really love here about this is David, the young, ruddy, rascally, fair-skinned David, who, by all accounts, shouldn't have stood a chance against a mighty man of war like Goliath, had spent his entire life trying to obey the Lord and had built himself up a collection of spiritual experiences where he shouldn't have been able to have killed the lion. He shouldn't have been able to defeat the bear. He shouldn't have been able to save the lamb at that time. But he did it. And he never stopped recognizing it, that despite his training in using the sling, despite his love and care for those sheep and everything that he wanted to do for them, it wasn't those things that saved him from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear. It was his belief that the Lord would save him after all he could do. And those moments he has stacked on his spiritual foundation, and on that foundation he has built his temple, which is him, which he is, a temple unto the living God. A pillar in the Lord's temple is what David had become. So when David was confronted with this opportunity, this man defies the living God. And who is this man? Who is this giant that thinks he can defy the living God? I have been saved from the paw of the lion. I have been saved from the paw of the bear. And this giant does not stand a chance against the God of Israel. And so I am going to go and show everybody how powerful my God really is. So what I love about this is experiences in my life, experiences in your life have created your spiritual foundation. You've been saved from the paw of the lion and the bear in your life. You've hopefully written some of these down. You've recorded them, I hope. Hopefully you've shared some of them with family and friends. Hopefully you've remembered them in the moments of your life, maybe Toph last week when you had your big meeting. maybe before you went into that and you're saying your prayers, you remembered some of these moments in your life where the Lord saved you from the lion and the bear and made you recognize that just by applying a little bit of faith in the things that you've already come to know about Jesus Christ, that the next time you face your Goliath, you will slay him because the Lord will be on your side. You will slay him because the Lord has shown you time and time and time and time again, he's not going to leave you hanging. He's not going to leave you helpless. He's not going to leave you without his protection and his care. So the commitment for this week for everybody is think of a time that you've realized that your spiritual foundation gave you the faith in Christ to slay Goliath in your life, whatever the Goliath is, and then share that experience with someone else.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome spiritual thought. Awesome commitment. Amen to that. Love the image too. Image is awesome. Is that an AI one? Did AI just come up with that?
Yeah. Did you know, legit, that's probably not that far off in scope and size.
It was ginormous.
If everybody has a look at their roof right now, if you have a standard size roof, Goliath was about 3 feet taller than your standard sized roof.
It's crazy.
His shield would have been about the size of a standard door, maybe slightly shorter. His spear, the beam of his spear would have weighed about 3 or 4 kilos. The spear tip weighed 6 kilos. His chainmail weighed 57 kilos. And then he had a helmet, probably 2 or 3 kilos, greaves on his arms and his legs. He had a sword as well, and all up he carried between 90 and 100 kilos probably of gear.
I feel like I have to translate this for the American audience.
Yeah.
For your standard room, it's about 8 feet, and he was about 10 feet, so it's a 2-foot difference. And the spear was like 15 pounds just on the head, 15 to 30 pounds just for. I feel like I have to do all these translations for the shield was 2 bald eagles.
Right? Yeah, there you go.
Wide,
Yeah.
from wing to wing, 2 bald eagles. The helmet could house 36 hot dogs.
Yeah.
That is how big it was. Yeah.
Now everyone's like, oh, now I understand the scale.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I was lost for a minute there.
David was about 8 boxes of Twinkies tall.
Don't get me started on
Like,
that. Don't get me started on that.
Now I see.
Don't get me started on
Now
David's
it's all
height.
making sense.
That kills me.
All right. Well done. We got there. Thank you, brothers and sisters, and our Zion or Bust family, and whoever's watching this, especially those who accidentally clicked this, because possibly you exist. And if you did, I hope you made it this far. I hope you made it this far, and that our constant context and correction throughout the video to help you understand who we are.
I stand by my statement the other week, which is until someone leaves a comment and says that they actually clicked it by accident and they followed it all the way to the point where they hear this, please comment.
Yeah.
Please. And if they don't, I'm just going to assume that no one's ever done it.
It's never happened.
Yeah.
It's
never happened.
Probably never will. Yeah.
And I think that's hilarious.
We can barely get Active Saints to probably watch this. I don't know why they.
It's literally been the same 500 people for like 6 years. It's the same 500 people.
I'm happy with that. That's good. So, thank you for joining us, everyone. It's been a pleasure as usual. We have a great time doing this. Hope you enjoyed it. And please, as you can tell, we go through comments, we go through questions, we go through all these sorts of things. Please comment and question and share things and on the YouTube video or in Discord, and we will go through it and hopefully reference it and bring it up in these videos. And again, we love you all. We have been your favorite, or more likely least favorite, three brothers. We love you, and we'll see you next week.